VO2 max is one of the biggest things that can change the performance and the outcome of your fitness and your longevity and your health for decades and decades to come. And I'm going to explain why right now. In this video, I'm going to cover what VO2 max is, why it matters for fitness and health, how we can measure it, and how we can improve it. First off, VO2 max is the maximum amount of oxygen your body is able to successfully utilize during an activity, whether that be running, cycling, rowing, or even walking uphill, walking up a mountain, anything you could possibly imagine. And we measure this in a lab, we measure it in a setting with Bluetooth devices, and sometimes we can measure it with estimations, like different formulas using the Carbonin formula, for example. When we measure VO2 max, typically we are measuring it in milliliters per kg per minute. And all that means is that's how much oxygen based off of your body weight versus how many minutes you're doing said activity. So, why does it matter for fitness and for health? In particular, for fitness, the larger your VO2 max is, the better your aerobic capacity is, the longer you're able to sustain a higher intensity, and how long you're able to sustain that high intensity for a certain activity. Someone with a higher VO2 max is going to be able to run a faster 5K than someone with a lower VO2 max. And I think that makes sense for most people. But a lot of people also ask why it improves longevity and why it improves your overall health. By improving your VO2 max, you will have a greater cardiovascular efficiency, you'll have a greater amount of oxygen that you can utilize during an activity. This is going to make your blood vessels more efficient, it's going to make your heart more efficient, it's going to make your nervous system more efficient, and that will over time cause generalized health improvements. A good example of this is someone that has a VO2 max of 40 at age 30. That number will continue to decline as they age, and that person might not be able to walk up a hill by the time they're 65 years old if they don't do something to train their VO2 max. That is how important this can be for your general health and ability to do things as you get older. So, further, how do we measure it? Well, we measure it using a VO2 Master Bluetooth analyzer. That is a mask that goes over your face like such, goes over your head, and we are able to use a Bluetooth device to measure your oxygen output during the activity, whether it be cycling or running. That's how we measure it. You can also measure it in a lab using a metabolic cart. Those cost about $30,000. We don't have one here. However, it might be a little bit more accurate, but the VO2 Master has been shown to be accurate within 0.001%, so we're okay with that. Next, how do we improve it? Once we get your VO2 max number, we have a really good baseline of what your level of fitness is at. Based off of that test, we're also going to be able to generate zones. The zones, which you might have heard of before, those are going to be your training zones. Those zones can range from 1 to 5, 1 being a very easy jog or a walk depending on your fitness level, and 5 being like an all-out sprint. We're going to utilize our VO2 max data in order to create these zones for you to make sure that you're exercising at the right intensity and the right volume for your current level of fitness. If you train too much outside of these zones, then you will most likely be overtraining, you won't be working on the thing that you think you're working on, and your injury likelihood goes way up. Basically, train in these zones, you'll get in better shape than if you just go out as hard as you can every single time. I know a lot of people are used to that. Sometimes it feels really good, but sometimes holding back is one of the most important things that you can do. Now, there's a little bit more to it, and we can definitely add a little bit more to your fitness level with some expert coaching and getting a little bit of a more detailed program based off of your individual fitness levels. And that is probably what's going to matter a lot more in the long run, other than just the data. But we have to get that data first. Once we get the data, we can get our training zones. Once we get our training zones, we can create an individualized program based off of that level of fitness that can take you from a VO2 max that looks like you're 85 years old to a VO2 max that tells you are still operating like you're 18. If you have any questions, get a hold of us. My name is Dr. Kyle Ditzenberger. I'm a doctor of physical therapy at OrthoSport HQ and a strength and conditioning coach and an endurance athlete myself. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We'll get back to you as soon as we can.